whatever you make, whatever you have, not just your time and not just your resources, not just your stuff, not just your family, but also your funds. God says, I gave you 10 of these. I just want one. And which one does he want? He wants the first one. And how do you know it's the first one? It's the first one that leaves your hand. God says, just bring that first one to me because you get to keep the other 9. If I've given you 100, just bring 10 to me and you get to keep the other 90. And so, thank you. Whatever you have, whatever God has given you, God says, I just want you to bring one of them to me. Just bring the first one to me. And how do you know it's the first one? It's the first one that leaves your hand. And as you begin to do that, you begin to see the blessing of your table. And so God says, I don't even know what this is, Jeff. What is this? It's just like a yellow thing. I don't know. It's spaghetti. It doesn't look like a spaghetti to me, but okay. Whatever God says, I just want one of your 10. And I will begin to fill your table, and I'll begin to bless your table like crazy. And God says, I will bless you. I will bless you like you cannot imagine. I just want you to bring the one of the 10. Is that so hard? I don't know. This is God's table. And this is your table. Do you see the difference and really the beauty and the power of that? God says, whatever you have of the 100, just bring me the 10%. If you got 10, if I blessed you with 10, I just want you to bring me one. And which one does he want you to bring? The first one. And how do you know it's the first? It is the first one that leaves your hand. In your heart, it's the first one that you determine, God, this is going to go to you. He says, I'm not sure God wants broccoli, but here it is. Someone told me after first service that this was their favorite food on the planet. I don't know, something's wrong with you. But God says, I just want the first one. And I'm going to bless you like you cannot imagine. Live on the 90. All I want is the first. Just one out of your 10. And God's table really, in my vernacular, looks pretty pathetic to me. Look at your table. It's beginning to fill up to the extent that I'm not sure the table can continue to hold the blessing that God is pouring out on your life. I just want you to bring one bunch. I've given you 10 bunches. Just bring one to me. And which one does he want you to bring? The first one. And how do you know it's the first one? It is the first one in your heart that leaves your hand and goes to God. Whatever you have, God says, I will bless it if you bring the 10 to me. If you bring the full tithe into the storehouse, I will begin to bless your life in a way that you cannot wrap your brain around until you say, you got to stop, God, because my table can't hold much more. I need another 8-foot table. And God is saying, I can actually do a lot with like a 1-foot table. But I just want you to bring the 90 to me. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Just bring the one. And God can do a whole lot more with your 90 than you can do with your 100. Whatever it is, whatever you've been given, bring the first one to me and look at God's table. It looks pretty meager, doesn't it? Look at yours.